Zinga. Zinga.
Zinga. Zinga.
Skittles, taste the rainbow.
Bye, Barbie.
Beautiful day, breakfast with Barbie cereal.
Will her dream ever come true?
It's time for Meg Reacts.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to Meg Reacts.
Welcome to Meg Reacts.
I'm not happy
I'm happy.
because it's cold outside.
I love the cold.
I hate the cold.
I love it.
So we're doing winter commercials.
Yay.
Joy.
Yay.
The weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. But as long as you love me so, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Nothing melts away the cold like a delicious hot bowl of Campbell's soup.
Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Campbell's makes everything.
I love that commercial. That was always one of my favorite commercials. That kid was so cute. He was.
Yeah. That one kind of has a little bit of holiday flavor.
But let us know it's a Christmas song.
But honestly, you could play that song all winter long. Sure. There's nothing specific about Christmas to that song.
No, this is not even the tag for the commercial is for the soup. So, I mean,
yeah, and honestly, here in Kentucky, we don't really get a lot of snow around Christmas time. It's usually
very lucky if we do. I think did it snow last year?
It did. Very little,
but we took it because it was a white Christmas.
But
and it was really cold Christmas Day because you and my dad.
Yeah, that
can't spoil too much in case watching. Getting set up for Santa to come was a little on the cold side.
Yeah,
we had the fireplace going.
Assisting, you and my mother-in-law had the fireplace while the father-in-law and I were assisting Santa in the 5-degree temperature outside.
It was really cold. I don't know if it was 5. It was cold.
It was
like
5.
8 or 10. It was.
We were single digits.
It was cold.
But usually we get snow around January or February, right around this time of the episode. So when I think snow, I think this time of the year, and I think of this commercial, and I think you do too.
I think what makes the winter months more bearable is to have snow. I know some people don't really like it either, but we love it as long as we've got snow. If it's going to be cold, might as well have snow.
And as much as I complain about cold, because I really hate cold, but I do like snow, and I like to go out. I like to go sledding. I love to go sledding. And I have yet to take my boys really on a good sledding trip.
Yeah, we may have to, since your parents have the golf course behind them. I wonder if you could take the boys this year.
Well, but
maybe drive my dad along.
But we didn't have a good snow. We've not had a good enough snow to really go sledding and take them outside and do a snowball fight and build a snowman. And I love all those things. But my philosophy is if it's going to be cold, snow. If you're not going to snow, warm up. I hate it. Next commercial.
The Gap. Don't see a lot of Gap anymore. I think they went out of business.
Did they?
I don't know. They used to have a Gap in the mall here, and
did that one close?
There is no Gap store in the mall now.
Wow.
It is gone.
Gap has an official website still going.
Okay.
So I guess they're just doing online stuff.
Well, they don't have one here in
The closest one is in Louisville, Kentucky,
Louisville. So
which is about 5 hours away.
kind of like the Disney store. They don't have a Disney store here. We have to go to Louisville
That
or
big city.
Pigeon Forge.
And again, that's another holiday one, but I do remember seeing like winter Gap commercials like that for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
When you were in, I want to say high school, when you were in homeroom, do you remember Channel 1 News? Did they used to play that for you? No, it wasn't high school. It was in junior high.
Junior high, yes.
That they would play that during homeroom. They'd have Channel 1 News to do everything that was going on, and then they would dismiss to first period. And because at the time we had seven or eight periods.
7 periods, yeah.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Craig Jackson.
And I'm Jared Friesen, and this is Channel 1 for Friday, March 4th.
It's the never-ending winter for the East Coast. Snow, sleet, and ice have hit once again, making this latest storm number 15.
But I remember the Gap commercials a lot during that season, or during those school years, because they'd have it during Channel 1, and they'd introduce this. So I remember those a lot, and I remember commercials like that, particularly winter, and really hating those kids. Because I'm thinking, you how can you guys be that happy to be that cold outside? No.
We both have colds. I see up at Adam and I can't even get started. Why? Because last night he took NyQuil and I took these, so he got rested. I didn't.
Vicks NyQuil, the bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, fully rested, so take it at night and have a good morning medicine.
What kind of medicine is that?
NyQuil.
No, what was the tagline?
Good. I don't know what. I done forgot.
That was a lot.
But it's so not even true. Okay, well, maybe for some people. Let me just rephrase that. Because Joe, our friend Joe, actually talked about when he had a cold during a show I was helping with. And I said, do you need anything like to take? I've got like some medicine I can give you. And he was like, well, I took like a whole bunch of NyQuil and I slept like a log. And I'm like, oh, it's great that works well for you because I could take NyQuil and I'd still be hacking and coughing all night long and being stuffy. I mean, I like NyQuil and I'll take it, but
Joe,
I need something stronger.
Our Gacoids know Joe because Joe did join me by now for an episode of Game On doing the Finders Keepers episode. So some of you are probably familiar with who he is, and we've referenced him quite a few times on this podcast. But that being said, in this house, as far as colds go, who gets them the most?
Me.
How long does it take you to recover?
A long time.
How long does it take me to recover?
Shut up. This is the same man who would get a scratchy throat or maybe a little bit of a dry cough. He chugs a gallon of orange juice and then he's fine the next day.
This one will take 3 different medications.
So I was just sick recently with a sinus infection, like maybe a month ago.
Yeah, at least.
And I felt it come on, so I started taking stuff pretty early, hard, and I have to take my 24-hour allergy Zyrtec, and then I have to take Mucinex, and I have to take Sudafed for the congestion up in here. So 3 different pills I have to pop, and by the way, the pills for Mucinex are like horse pills. So plus cough drops, plus hot tea, as I try to usually drink some hot tea for my throat, especially with being a singer. But yeah, if anything, you ought to see a view of my desk, my work desk, when Alex is playing.
Gross.
He's picking up all my snot because like I'm blowing my nose on my desk. I'm working.
Snot rags
like,
all over.
You know. And I got wrappers from my cough drops and
odds.
I mean he does. He's like, oh my god. And I try to clean it up at the end of the day, but
No, you don't.
I do.
No, you don't.
Sometimes. Thank you.
Once a month.
Excuse you.
No, excuse you. You're the one who's sneezing in all those tissues.
well, better out than in. And Jensen's still fighting an infection when we recorded this right now. He's been fighting a sinus infection for several weeks. He cannot get rid of this cough he's got and a little bit of runny nose. So we're just...
It's not too bad, though. It's not too
He's in great spirits and he's doing well. It's just, he sounds awful.
He's got his dad's spirit and his mom's immune system.
Yeah, the one thing he got from me, other than that, he's all him.
Whereas Sam's got his dad's spirit and immune system.
Immune system is all you.
But yeah, there was one night we were going to bed and I sounded really bad. And Megan was going, go take you some medicine? And I said, no, I'll be fine. And she said, go take you some medicine. No, I'll be fine. I drink orange juice all day long. Next day.
And I will do the same. I will drink a lot of orange juice, or I'll even take some kind of a vitamin C supplement and zinc. And
so that commercial is just about the two of us, only I'm
the one over
there. But in the commercial, it was he took the NyQuil, she didn't. It's actually I just took OJ. She was taking the NyQuil. And still.
I mean, my dad can take NyQuil. He can take the NyQuil and he'll sleep like a baby.
Mm-hmm.
I have taken it before and I can't tell the difference.
One of the many reasons I love the cold.
It don't matter. It was summer and I had a sinus infection. It don't matter if it's hot or cold. I still get sick. So that's why I'm like, who cares? I don't care what season it is.
I do.
It still affects me every year. It don't matter.
For years, snowboarders, knuckle dragger, and skiers have shared an uneasy truce. The equipment.
Two clanker.
The clothes.
Who's your tailor?
They agreed.
Dweeb. Delinquent.
On nothing. Until now. Introducing the Golf K2, a Volkswagen tricked out for frosty weather with a roof rack and a K2 snowboard or a pair of K2 skis. Thus, the Cold War ended, and there was peace in our time. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers.
First of all, to go back to that Campbell soup commercial, because I never did get to talk about this with that.
Okay.
You can edit this if you want.
No, that's fine.
First of all, Campbell's chicken noodle soup is the most disgusting thing you'll ever put in your mouth. In my opinion. If I'm sick and someone's like, you want some soup with some chicken noodle? I'm like, no, because it's nasty. It tastes like butt. Not that I would know, but I'm just saying it's just nasty. I about gag. Some people really love it. I mean, I'd rather have somebody make me some homemade or like get me
chili.
Chili is not good for a cold.
Oh, chili's not good for anything.
No, chili is great, but you like chili. Yes, you do. I'm about to make some soon as it starts turning colder, which it's cold now, so it's perfect time. Back to this commercial now. Just wanted to throw that out there, that how much I do not like Campbell soup, and that it was not a commercial ad that entice me to really want to go out and get some Campbell soup, because I really didn't want to. Anyway,
but this commercial,
yeah. So I do not remember this commercial at all.
I don't remember any of the only car commercials I really remember of the 90s were the ones that had Paul Hogan from Crocodile Dundee in it.
That's why I drive a Subaru Outback. With a big cargo bay and all-wheel drive, you get all the sport utility you need.
And the ones that had Bob Seger's Like a Rock.
And every one of them demands something different from their Chevy truck. But they all want the same thing. The most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
That's the only ones I remember.
And the Ottoman Chrysler and Vern, the Ernest.
Well,
guy,
yeah, but that's more of a local thing, less of a nationwide is on your side.
Well, yeah, I always remember the Like a Rock. Yeah, those were some of my favorites.
The thing that I do recall is not about the commercial itself, but more about the style, because I remember not necessarily Winter Olympics, but extreme sports were beginning to become more popular, and they were starting to make movies about extreme sports. And I remember some of the winter ones that they were making at the time, like snowboarding, and I think Grind was one of the movies that they had made. And
well, one of my favorite Disney Channel movies I loved was Johnny Tsunami, and he went from surfing to doing snowboarding because he had to move, and that was one of my favorites.
And I remember those commercials that had a lot of humor. I don't know if commercials have that kind of humor anymore today. And the only reason I don't is because we don't have regular TV.
We don't really get to see commercials anymore.
So I don't know if they still maintain a lot of that fun with their advertising. Dr. Squatch, they have fantastic advertising and they're hilarious. But that's more online advertising, less television advertising. And the advertising has to be fast on social media and on YouTube because 5-second skip and that's it. So you have to make those 5 seconds count. But no, I don't know if this is still a thing because there was a lot of humor in this one, but nothing that really made me laugh. But they were trying, and then they had that style, that extreme style, and I don't know. I miss that. I miss that kind of thing.
Actually was always really fascinated by snowboarding because I would have loved to have been able to try it because we our youth group used to go to Paoli, the ski resort,
Paoli Peaks,
at our old church that we used to go to, and I actually went one time. And it was a lot of fun just hanging out with people, but I ended up not skiing because I was too chicken to. But my friend did, and she barely slid down the mountain with. She was like, "Megan, come watch," and I'm like, "Yeah, you have fun. I'll stay in this cozy cabin where it's warm." So, but that's kind of what it makes me think of. It brings back memories of that, or I just think it would be a lot of fun to do something like that. But
world-class skaters Nicole Bobick, Michelle Kwan, and Tara Lipinski are graceful, powerful, beautiful, and absolutely freezing. Which is why they have plenty of Campbell's soup on hand, because a hot, delicious cup of Campbell's can really warm things up.
Again, with the Campbells. You had to do that, didn't you?
What?
So we're back to the Campbell's talk. So yeah, they lie again.
That's not chicken noodle soup, honey. That's tomato soup.
Even worse. Tomato soup is gross. At least in my opinion. But
do you remember that commercial?
No.
I remember that one. I remember that one quite well.
I don't.
And it's
I know the figure skaters. Well, not the first one, but the other two. Michelle Kwan and Tara Lipinski. I used to love watching figure skating.
Because this came out during the Winter Olympics. And I remembered this one because I was over at my Aunt Deborah's house, because this was, I think, during winter break, and my parents were still having to work. And so they would take me to a relative's house who were at home. And I would set the VCR, I'd program it to record movies. And Masters of the Universe was coming on TBS, and I was recording that one. And at one point I asked while I was at her house, can I turn on this movie that I'm recording at home because I've got nothing to do right now? And she said, yeah, sure. And this commercial came on during that commercial break. And I didn't care anything about the Winter Olympics as a kid, but I still hated the cold even as a kid. And then when it got to that part of the joke, absolutely freezing, I cackled. It was like, yes, I agree 100%. BS. Hate this nonsense.
Well, they're moving around a lot. They ain't gonna be cold. They're gonna be sweaty, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
That's me. It don't matter if it's winter or cold. I still sweat.
But any final thoughts before we wrap up the episode? At least for this winter commercial episode.
Or I didn't know if it was about that specific commercial.
Anything on this one or as a whole?
I love the winter time. I like the longer nights, as crazy as it sounds. I'm weird. I like the longer nights. I love the snow. I like now that we have a house with a fireplace, it's amazing.
I do have a
love
fireplace.
turning on the fireplace, sitting by the fireplace.
Turning it on?
11 o'clock. Leave me alone.
I wish it would just turn on.
I know, right? But who wants that? That's boring. We don't want an electric. We want a real one. But I really like this last winter. I turned on an old classic movie with
Fred Astaire.
Yes. I was almost gonna say Gene Kelly, and I was like, no, that's not it.
Was it Top Hat?
It was Top Hat. That's it. Yes, and Ginger Rogers, and sat by the fire while the fire was going, and it was so nice. And I'm like, I know people complain about the cold. I love things like this. Like, plus I hate sweating, so that's why I like the colder weather.
I'd rather sweat.
Now I will say, usually when like February or when March starts getting here, I'm like, okay, it's time. I'm ready for spring now. So it's time to move on. But it has its moments. So
when December 26th gets here, I want it to warm up.
No.
I don't mind cold for Christmas, and then after that, I'm done. Warm up. But that aside, this is our last episode of Meg Reacts for the season. There were only a few this time, but we had to make room for the other minisodes that we have been putting out, because we've had 3 minisodes total. So but thank you to all of you who have been listening. Which season do you prefer the most, and why? And going into season 6, I don't know what we're going to do just yet for our minisodes. I do believe we'll still keep Meg Reacts around, because I've enjoyed doing these. And maybe we'll do a bit more with Sam now that he is still a little older and he's still getting some of his comedic timing down, because when the boy is trying to be funny, it's not funny, but when he's just being himself, he's hilarious.
By the time this comes out, he will be hitting a milestone of 10.
He'll be 10.
Turning 10.
He'll be officially in the double digits.
Not okay with that. I'm not okay with that. He's my baby.
And
not a baby anymore.
Jensen will be approaching
4. I know.
But and to think, he was, he was 7 when we started this, when I started Splat Attack, and now he's almost 10.
And someone just barely crawling.
But thank you, all of you who have been supporting all this time, and thank you to all of you who are new. Welcome to the Splat Attack crew. You guys are all awesome. Thank you, Megan, once again for joining me for another season, even though we are at the moment recording this in September. I can already tell you I'm not going to be happy right now, and she's going to be ecstatic.
Be sure to throw a shout out if you'd like to see me come back for other episodes. That is not just Meg Reacts. I know the boys sometimes like having me in as a surprise guest.
I do have a couple of episodes in mind that I want you to come in for.
I'm not like so super savvy on Nickelodeon stuff, but if it's going to be an all that episode, or
it's a pretty safe bet that if we do something Disney related, or if we do something like ABC, TGIF, things like that, you can pretty well have a safe bet that she's got a say in quite a bit of it. So Nickelodeon related, count her out, unless it's something that you really just want to see her opinion on from seeing it for the first time, because I know the Tomorrow People episode, the last one that we did, the it's not Kulik's experiment, the Monsoon Man.
Yeah, I was like the weather.
Those don't have a lot of views. Go check them out. Tomorrow People they're actually a very fun series. They are very fun, but you got to be in the right mindset for them. And the last Monsoon Man episode that we did, it was really fun between Brett and I, who loved them, and then Megan, who's just like, okay, why is this good? So it's pretty fun. Go check it out.
Reactions while watching that episode. Yeah, it was episodes, I guess. It was interesting.
Five episodes.
But yeah, if you do some talks on Legend, I loved Legends and Guts and all that, and Doug was probably the one cartoon that I watched a lot of.
I don't think it'll be in season 6. It may be in season 7. I need to see when it's coming out, but all that 30th anniversary is going to be sometime this year, and we are definitely wanting to do an episode on that. So
that was my favorite. Still to this day, I love watching it.
But we've rambled long enough for the end. Thank you, all of you, once again, for all of your continued support. Thank you, Megan. Love you.
Love you.
You all have a lovely winter. Spot you later.
Spot you later.
Pour clear water from the teapot and...
Looks like pink tea.
Sorry, Dad. Yikes can't work miracles.
They write like other pencils, but they make you go, yikes!
We're opera singers! Wendy's kids meals are
just for kids.
Have your credit card handy to save COD charges.
I hate the snow. I hate the snow. I hate the rain and I hate the sleet. Man, I sure do hate the snow. Feet are froze and my toes are too. I hate, whoa!